EVs are no longer meant to just do city commutes. More and more people are doing long trips in EV. In today's episode, I'm going to talk about how to plan long trips in EV using an application called as PlugShare. Hello everyone, welcome to Green and Clean YouTube channel. My name is Vittal. Before I start, a kind request to like and subscribe to this channel if you like the content. Before we get started, some points on planning the trips. Do not do long trips that are more than 1.5 times your battery range of your car. If you have a 200 or 250 kilometer range of car, don't drive a 600 or a 700 kilometer long trip. Of course, you can cover it, but you will spend a lot of time in charging the battery. Always start at 100% battery from wherever you are starting from. Combine your food breaks with charging breaks. If you have two separate breaks, one for your food and for your car's food, then it's going to take a long time for your journey. Install and activate all charging apps required for your trip before you start the trip. Always carry your portable charger because you never know where it is required. And install PlugShare on your mobile. For this example, I'm using PlugShare as my application. There are also other applications like eHub by MG, which have a lot of charge point operators with them. But in eHub, I find that some major players like Tata Power is not onboarded. So in this episode, I'm using PlugShare as my base. And with PlugShare, at the time of recording this video, for some reason, you have to have PlugShare on your mobile as well as PlugShare on your browser to do the planning, because on the mobile app for some reasons there is no facility to do trip planning. So what you need to do first time is open PlugShare, and if you are using it for the first time, you will have to log in using this option here. So if you log in and link your Gmail ID, or if you are using Apple, if you use your Apple credentials and then log in, then it will store you as a user. And when you install PlugShare on your mobile, then it can link both the users. So whatever planning you do on the browser will be saved, and then you can see that on the mobile app. So you need this browser based session or a planning session only before you start the journey. Alright, I have already logged in to PlugShare using my Gmail ID. So you will see my profile being open here. So once you have logged into the PlugShare, what you can do is go here on this breadcrumbs and click on the planning session, like the trip planner here. So if you click here, a window, a pop-up like this. So in this example, I want to do a trip, let's say from Bangalore to Hyderabad. So I'll enter the destination here, so Hyderabad, and then do a search. So it does give you a map from Bangalore to Hyderabad. So a total distance of 580 kilometers. And here in the distance here, it lets you choose how you want to search for chargers. For example, I want to search chargers that are only within like 10 kilometers of my journey. I don't want to go too much, deviate too much away from the journey. So I'm reducing it to like below 10 kilometers. And then it also tells you what is your estimated range of your car. In my case, it's BYD E6. It gives 450 to 500 kilometers in real life, but to be on the safer side, I put 400 kilometers as the range. So that's what you see here. Always make sure that you keep about 20% buffer on your real life range, so that when you plan, you don't have to search for a last minute charging with your battery almost going to die, right? So you want to make sure that you have at least 50 to 100 kilometers before you actually go for charging. I mean, not less than 50 to 100 kilometers. So that's my advice. So on this trip, it has shown me so many different charging options, but if you realistically see it, I don't know if all of them are good or all of them are fast chargers, etc. etc. So I want to make sure that I only search for specific chargers. Also, the chargers should be next to food outlet, right? So I need to put some more filters to my search criteria. And the very first thing I would do is come over here and then choose dining as option. I want to at least have a dining options. Of course, dining will also have restroom, so I will not click it. So I'll just say dining, and it will tell you what speed you want to search, like the speed of the charger. So I want at least 30 kilowatt or more, because if you go with the charging with a slow charger, then you waste a lot of time. Ideally, I would only want to target 50 or 60 kilowatt and above, but I will just choose like 30 in this case, so that it filters out certain chargers that I want to see. And also there is something called as plug score here. So every user who have used chargers will come to PlugShare and then give the review and rating of that charger. So I want to make sure that I use chargers that are at least 5 out of 10 rating, that have at least 5 out of 10 rating, right? So those are my filter criteria. So when I do that, you can see that the number of chargers are significantly reduced. Now, my advice to every user is to start your journey early in the morning, preferably like 5 a.m. or 4 a.m. or something like that, because your car will perform the best early in the morning in slightly colder conditions. So in this example, I would keep my start time as 5 a.m. and usually my breakfast time should be around 7:30 a.m. So what that means is I want to drive for about 2 hours in the beginning before I stop for breakfast, and at that point I also want to see whether I can charge. So I will look from Bangalore. So there is a scale here which says this distance is 20 miles. So I will probably look somewhere around here at these points. So let's say this particular charger. So if you click on this one, Hotel VV Srini at Bagepalli, it has, let me click here, and then you will see the details about that charging station. So it's near Hotel VV Srini at Bagepalli. So it has static charger as well as Geo Plus, Geo Pulse charger, and the speed is 60 kilowatt, which is pretty good. The payment is 15 rupees, not too expensive. So this looks like a pretty good charger, and you can also see the users commenting here. So it's pretty recent comments which says the food options are available, blah blah blah. So there's good things written here about this particular charger. So it gives me a confidence that this must be a good charger where I can have my first stop. So what I will do is I'll just click here, add to trip, then it will add to the trip. Now if you see here, let me zoom in a little bit. So if you see here, you will see that it is about 101 kilometers. It says 1 hour 60 minutes. Yeah, technically it is 2 hours. So it is 2 hours from my starting point. So it's very ideal for me to have a breakfast break. And then here you will see that from there to Hyderabad, it's about 481 kilometers. And you will see the color is red because it is saying, if you hover over it, it is saying that this particular, I'm trying to get the tooltip. Basically, it is saying that you are going over your battery capacity. So you won't be able to, just with this charging, even if you charge at 100% at this point, at this station, you'll not be able to go to Hyderabad because it is 481 kilometers and you have said here that your range is 400 kilometers. So it shows the color as red. That means we have to have one more charging session before we reach Hyderabad. So anyway, so this looks good enough for me. Now for doing 100 kilometers, my battery would be consumed approximately 20 to 25%. So I expect to arrive at this station with about 75 to 80% battery remaining. But I still want to charge because that's the time when I stop and have breakfast. So I will also uh, plug the car in for charging, and it should charge the remaining 20%, to charge to 100% at this speed. It should take roughly about 30 minutes, which is good enough for my breakfast time. So that will be my first stop. So I start at 5 a.m. My breakfast stop maybe at around 7 a.m. at Bagapalli for half an hour. So maybe I'll start at 7:30, 7:45 ish, and I need to have a lunch break around 12:30 or 1 o'clock or something like that. So that's almost like 5 hours. So I will search for my next charging session somewhere closer to Hyderabad, depending on what is available here. For example, I see here Manjira Hotels and Resorts. So let me see how this charger looks like. So if I click on it, I can see about this particular charging station. So it is 50 kilowatt hour charger powered by Saptavahana Oza Energy. So something written about it. So it is quite fast charger. So there are two plugs, 50 kilowatt, and there are some comments, even though not very recent, but people have used this charger, and maybe it's an option. It is rated how much? 10 out of 10 in PlugShare. So I will be tempted to add this to the trip. So you can click this one or this one here and then add it to the trip. So now you can see here our two stops are ready. So this actually takes 6 hours, roughly 6 hours. So that means if I start from Bagepalli, the first break at around 7:45, I will be arriving at around 1:45 or something like that at Manjira Hotel. And if I charge 100% here, I will be able to make it because, as I said, the real life range is 450 or up to 500 kilometers on my car, but I've just kept 400 as a worst case option, and it can cover. So I expect to arrive here in this station at Manjira Hotels with about 15 or 20% battery remaining based on my calculation. So when I stop here, I can go for full charge. That is, I need to charge 80% of the battery, and 80% of the battery might take 1 hour, 10 minutes, 1 hour, 15 minutes, or even 1.5 hours, depending on the speed at that particular time. So, uh, my advice in such cases is you are pretty close to Hyderabad, so you are 90 kilometers away from your final destination, and to do 90 kilometers in my car, about 30 or 40% of charging is enough. But I would say let's keep it 50%. So what I will do here is when I stop for lunch, I will plug it in for charging, and I will finish my lunch, which might take roughly about 30-40 minutes, or let's say 45 minutes in the worst case, and I will not wait for the charging to be 100% over because it's not really needed. So I will stop whenever my lunch is over and then head to Hyderabad. So this way I am not wasting any time for charging in both these stops. So I have stopped pretty early and charged it to 100%, and then I'm arriving at my next spot and I'm charging about 40 to 50% so that I can cover all the distance up to Hyderabad. And um, assumption is once you reach Hyderabad in your endpoint, you also have charging option, whether it's AC slow charge or some fast chargers at a mall or near your hotel where you are staying. So nowadays you can search for hotels which have EV chargers. So I will probably look for a hotel that either has a EV charging or has a public EV charging nearby, so that when I go to Hyderabad, I can plug my car in to those locations. So this is how I would plan my trip. But you can't just have one option of charging in your long trips. What if the charger at this VV Srini hotel is not working, or if there's a power outage or some issue, right? So you need an option B or a plan B if something doesn't go well. So what I would do is I will probably add another plan B option charger. So I will click here, add stop, and then I will look for something near this location, and that is here, Hotel Vaishali at Penukonda. So let's see what kind of charger is this. It's rated 9, so pretty good charger. The speed is 60 to 120 kilowatt, so that's also very good, and it uses Glida. The provider is Glida. So I will add this to the trip. So you will see now here that in case if I don't get the charger here, I will straight away head to this particular location, Hotel Vaishali, which is 46 kilometers from this location, which is about 45 minutes. So I will have my breakfast break at 2 hours 45 minutes mark and not at 2 hours in case of plan B. So this is my plan B charger. So when I arrive at plan B charger, I will be out of maybe I will be arriving at roughly with 60% battery remaining. So I need to charge 40%. So I'll wait here for about 30% charge, so that I have around 80 to 90% of the charge available in case I go for this particular option. And then I can arrive at Manjira Hotel, which is 352 kilometers now, because you have covered 46 kilometers here. So instead of the earlier 398 kilometers, now it is 350 kilometers. But what if this particular charger doesn't work at Manjira Hotel? So I need to think about an option B even for that particular charger, right? So in that case, I will look for, so I will probably look at this one, Blue Box Jetcherla Charge Zone. So let's take a look at this one. So it's 8.2 rated. The speed is not great, it's 30 kilowatt, but when you have an option B, when you're looking for plan B, it's probably what you can get. So there is dining available, there is restroom available here, there are some reviews as well. So looks like this is also a decent charges, and it's about 2 kilometers from our option A, which is Manjira Hotels, right? So what I will do is click here, add a stop, and then add it to the trip. So now you will see that my trip is ready with option A and option B chargings. So option A is Hotel VV Srini here at Bagepalli, and Manjira Hotels at this location. But if this doesn't work, then I go for Hotel Vaisali at Penukonda, and the option B in that, if I go for Vaishali, the option B could be actually one of these, Blue Box or Blue Fox or Manjira Hotel. So this way, you at least have to plan for 2 chargers nearby, so that one of them doesn't work, then you have a plan B. Okay, now that you have prepared a plan, it's time you save the trip. So I will have to save it as, I have to give it a name which should be better than something like trip to Hyderabad. Let me say like YouTube demo and save it. So now the trip is saved in my profile. One important thing you should note while planning trips with PlugShare is this elevation. So because elevation is very important in the case of EV. So here it tells you from 920 meters you are going down till here, then you are going up, and then there is some. So this trip, you are in the end you are coming down from 900 meters of elevation to about, I don't know how much is this, around 550 meters, which is Hyderabad. So you are going down hill, so your range may be better, or you will get more range compared to when you are coming back. So when you are coming back from Hyderabad to Bangalore, maybe you will consume a little more battery because you are going uphill. So there is elevation here, between here to here, and then also between here to here. So this information is very essential because sometimes if you think that your range is 300, but if you encounter an uphill, then the battery will be consumed quicker and you may not be able to go 300. Instead it may be 200 or 250. So that's why you need to look at the elevation also here. So that's available here. Now once you save the trip is then available in mobile, in your mobile app. So let me show how it looks. When you open your mobile and check the trips section, you will see that the trip that we just planned is available, and if you click it, you will see the complete map like this, and you can start navigating from your mobile in your maps. You will see all the charging stations at the bottom of the screen on your mobile, and you will be able to navigate to all of those charging stations. Based on what we have planned, these are the charging point operators which I'll be using in this trip. So I will make sure that these apps that you see on the screen are installed on my app before I start the trip. And don't worry, this kind of exhaustive planning may take some time when you do it for the first time, but once you are done with it, you get a hang of how to plan this trip, and you will do it faster. And remember, next time when you go to Hyderabad from Bangalore, you don't have to do this plan again. And my piece of advice is that you should always connect your car first when you have stopped for a break, because there will be some time involved in trying to figure out how to start the charging if you are doing it for the first time on that particular station with that particular charging point provider. So it might take some learning. It's not rocket science, but it will take a few minutes to get a hang of it. And sometimes the charging may not work the very first time, so you might have to do a couple of times before you successfully successfully start the charging session. So always connect your car first and then go for food. That brings us to the end of this rather long episode. If you are someone with experience of doing long trips in an EV, and if you have suggestions, do let me know in the comment section. Thanks a lot for watching. See you in other episodes of this channel.